Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I am back for some more competitive double battles in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In this video, I am going to be playing my last couple of games before officially diving into the VGC rule set, which has finally been announced. Now, the team I'm featuring won a big online grassroots event at the end of November, and I think that it just is incredibly powerful as it features some of the strongest brand new Pokemon, including Chi Yu and Flutter Mane, which is a crazy duo. It turns out that Paradox and Legendary Pokemon will actually not be allowed for the first 2 months at least of VGC play in December and January. So as a result, you actually won't see a lot of these Pokemon come the start of VGC. That being said, I do expect them to get added on at some point. It's just a matter of when rather than if, in my opinion. And so I still wanted to upload this video to feature just how crazy strong some of these brand new Pokemon are. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps in the description below. And thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please share support by leaving a like in the video. It really helps me and the channel out a lot. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Aaron and I do competitive VGC and Pokemon content all the time. So if that's something you're interested in, would mean a lot if you consider subscribing. But thanks so much as always for watching, and let's dive into our final video before officially getting into VGC. First of all, huge thank you to Federico once again for building and sharing this team. He actually just started up a YouTube channel and did a team/tournament report for this in Italian, and so there's a rental code included at the end of his video if you're interested. I'll link that in the description below. There's also a paste if you want to try out the team yourselves. But yeah, this team essentially just features some of the strongest Pokemon and can really roll over teams very quickly if your opponents are unprepared. It is easily one of the most consistent teams I've tried out in early Scarlet and Violet so far, and has a lot of small nuances in team building that I think really allows it to separate it from the rest of the teams that I've seen. The first combination to talk about is Flutter Mane plus Chi Yu. The idea here is that you just have two of the strongest special attackers in the game. Chi Yu's ability lowers the special defense of all other active Pokemon, and Flutter Mane plus Chi Yu both have base 135 special attack. In addition, they are fairly speedy, right? And so the Chi Yu here is Choice Scarf and Flutter Mane is Booster Energy. And you can take a look at Flutter Mane's EV spread here, but essentially with the Booster Energy, you are designed to get a speed boost rather than a special attack boost. And so the general theory is that these two Pokemon are already really fast, and with the Choice Scarf and the Booster Energy, it is very, very difficult to move before these Pokemon come out. And so Chi Yu plus Flutter Mane is just easily one of the best early duos because you lead them and suddenly you just put on so much pressure. You have Ghost, Fairy, Ice coverage here, Fire, Dark, and the Terra Blast from Chi Yu is actually Ghost. And so Ghost Chi Yu, I think, has been one of the smartest Terras that I've seen while playing through Scarlet and Violet so far in this first week and a half or so. And that's because it makes us immune to Fake Out. And so you can lead Chi Yu and Flutter Mane and essentially not care about Fake Out whatsoever. There are also some other great immunities, right? For example, Dragonite's really common in early Scarlet and Violet, and being immune to Choice Band Extreme Speed is such a big deal. You're also immune to fighting type attacks, which is fairly common given that Chi Yu is dark. And so Ghost is just an incredible Terra because it can take an attack and basically make it immune. And a lot of these attacks are attacks that you'll often see in the format. And so yeah, Chi Yu and Flutter Mane just absolutely incredible. Icy Wind is nice for another means of speed control, and this is particularly valuable into opposing fast Pokemon that might have Choice Scarf or Tailwind, for example. The other combination to talk about here is the Chien-Pao and the Dragonite duo. We featured Choice Band Dragonite already, but the idea is that this is just an incredible Pokemon. Inner Focus makes it immune to Intimidate, which is really nice, and of course immune to flinching as well. And the idea is that you're generally going to want to go for normal Terra and then just go for Choice Band Extreme Speeds. And Chien-Pao synergizes even nicer with it because you can switch it in. Sword of Rune drops the opposing defenses, and Extreme Speed can even pick up one-hit knockouts between Terra, Choice Band, and the defense drop. Chien-Pao here is fairly standard, but the one thing to call out is that it actually has Haze. The idea behind Haze is that it's really valuable into Pokemon that want to boost their stats, such as the Dondozo and Tatsugiri combination, for example. Finally, to round out the team, you've got a Amoonguss. This is fairly standard. It has Clear Smog, Rage Powder, Spore, and Protect, and it's Occaberry. But the one thing I do want to call out here is that it's Water Terra type. This is really nice in giving the Torkoal some trouble, because this team is really fast-paced and hyper-offensive. Generally, if Trick Room goes up against it, you might be in a lot of trouble. And so Amoonguss is kind of the anti-Trick Room option, and everything else is just, like, really weak into Torkoal, for example. Yeah, like Gyarados and Dragonite resist it, but do you really resist anything from Torkoal when it's choice specs, you know, Terra, Fire, Eruption, for example? Not really. The idea behind Amoonguss here is that you can Terra into water, resist those eruptions, and then get a Spore off into opposing Torkoals. Final Pokemon to talk about here is Gyarados. This is a Dragon Dance set with clear amulets, so you are immune to Intimidate, which is really nice. And you've got Terra Blast with Flying Terra as well, so just maximizes damage output. Gyarados doesn't really get access to that many great physical flying attacks, and so this is a nice means of consistent damage output. So I think overall, this team is just so powerful. Like, I've had so many games where essentially the game ends after a turn or two because Flutter Mane and Chi Yu are just able to pick up a double knockout. So you have to respect this combination, but there's so many different ways you can play it. Chi Yu Flutter Mane, Dragonite Chien-Pao, both of those are good leads. Gyarados Amoonguss is a good lead in itself because you can just go for Rage Powder into Dragon Dance, get some early damage off with Gyarados, and then close out the game with Chi Yu and Flutter Mane. But truthfully, I feel like every Pokemon on this team synergizes with each other, and the reality is that you have so many good offensive Terras between the Dragonite and the Flutter Mane. Chi Yu is more of a defensive Terra option, as well as the Amoonguss here. So yeah, Chi Yu and Flutter Mane is an unbelievable duo. Like, I really mean it, and I'm hoping that the games today can showcase it. So let's get into the battles. Okay, we've got some cool Pokemon here. Amoonguss, Dragonite, Palafin, Kingambit, Arcanine, and Sableye. So, Sableye is interesting because it can Quash, which is slightly annoying. Now, Chi Yu and Chien-Pao are dark, and Sableye has Prankster, so we're actually immune to those Prankster attacks, which is pretty sweet. I think we're going to have to worry about Palafin a little bit for sure. I think Dragon Dance Gyarados is very compelling here. Especially thanks to Clear Amulet. But I do have to worry about Kingambit a little bit, right? Mischievous Chi Yu is always a strong combination here. I don't know. I'm kind of worried about like Sableye Kingambit as a lead potentially from their end. I don't know about the effectiveness of Amoonguss here because of Sableye potentially having Taunt. This is a tricky one. I'm honestly not sure what our best combo is. I think I'm down for a Flutter Mane Chi Yu lead with Gyarados in the back, and then honestly maybe Amoonguss. Banded Dragonite Extreme Speed, it's okay. Chien-Pao's also okay here. Okay. I'm gonna bring Chien-Pao just because it offers me a little bit more offense. Like, it's super good into the Dragonite if they don't Terra with it, for example. Sacred Sword is really good into Kingambit as well. So, we'll see. But yeah, like, Chi Yu plus the Flutter Mane is just an incredibly strong combination because you get the special defense drops via the Beads of Ruin from Chi Yu, and then Flutter Mane obviously can capitalize off that. So it's going to be Sableye and Dragonite. I mean, on paper, this looks fairly good, right? But, of course, like, the Sableye could go for Quash onto the Flutter Mane. We're Fairy Terra. I'm worried about Dragonite having like Iron Head, for example. Could Terra. Iron Head would still KO. Honestly, I think I want to get rid of Sableye ASAP. So, like, I don't hate the idea of just going for Dazzling Gleam and Heat Wave turn 1. Maybe even Overheat, honestly. Heat Wave does slightly cover for them turning into Steel type potentially here. They also could just Terra normal. You could also, like, Fake Out here into Chi Yu. We could Terra Ghost here, honestly. That would help against Extreme Speed as well, but I don't love the idea of committing my Terra this early, especially because I think I want to Terra Gyarados. It's also interesting to consider protecting here, because I think Flutter Mane is the clear target, but I'm honestly down to try to get rid of the Sableye as quickly as possible, so I'm going to go for Dazzling Gleam and Overheat. They actually switched Dragonite out, which I think is already really good for me, into Amoonguss. Okay, sure. And Fake Out into Chi Yu. Okay, I will gladly take that, because the other thing is in going for the Fake Out there, now I don't get the Overheat off, but it means I can just click Heat Wave this next turn. I kind of expect Quash into Spore here, though. Okay, so it's Roselli Berry on Sableye. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of down to just Dazzling Gleam here. They actually can't even Quash Chi Yu, because we're Dark type. Yeah, that puts them in a really tough spot, actually. I'm down to just Dazzling Gleam here and then launch Overheat into Amoonguss because I'm worried about it surviving a Heat Wave. Might have Aqua Berry as well. They just protect, which is fine. What does Sableye go for? Okay, they just Will-O-Wisp us, but we're special, so that doesn't really mean much. I think next turn is where things get interesting, because obviously the Dragonite could come back out. So if Dragonite comes back out, one thing I'd have to worry about is the choice band normal Terra. But then what we could do is Ghost Terra with the Chi Yu to counteract that and be immune to it. And then, yeah, if you commit to extreme speed there, you're in a really bad spot. But I'd say so far this game has gone incredibly well because we had a stronger lead and they felt pressure to switch out of Dragonite. Normally with Sableye, your goal is to disrupt your opponent and let the Pokemon next to Sableye essentially pick up knockouts, ideally before your opponent can move. But having the Dark-type Pokemon in Chi Yu here is already fairly valuable. So Dragonite does come back out here. I honestly am slightly tempted to just go for the Terra with Chi Yu here because, like, I think Banded Extreme Speed or Life Orb Extreme Speed does scare me a little bit. Yeah, honestly, down to Dazzling Gleam and Terra into Ghost here, and then just Overheat into Amoonguss. So I'm mainly curious if Dragonite goes for a Terra here. Amoonguss could also consider switching. Aqua Berry is a fairly common item on it right now. I mean, the Amoonguss on this team has it as well. So let's see. They're not going to switch, though, which I think is already a good sign. Now, one thing that could be interesting is Amoonguss going for a Terra as a defensive option. Okay, they're going to go for Terra. Let's see if it's Dragonite. If so, this is going to be amazing for us. Beautiful. Is that normal? Excellent. So this is where having a defensive Terra just to cover for a common meta option is really interesting, right? And there's Extreme Speed. Amazing, amazing. Okay, just need to not miss Overheat now. Get Dazzling Gleam off. Nice. Overheat does not miss. Beautiful. That's going to KO Amoonguss, no Aqua Berry either. And now my opponent has committed their Terra to a normal Pokemon, right? Or to the normal typing, and so they can't really do much into Chi Yu or Flutter Mane. I'll probably consider switching out Chi Yu this next turn, though. It's not really offering me too much right now. Kind of depends on what their final Pokemon is. I think if it's King Gambit, actually, we could consider staying in. It's going to be Arcanine, though. Okay. Works for me. I mean, even with Arcanine here, maybe I can consider just attacking. It depends on the item on Dragonite, but I think this game, such a cool application of defensive Terra. And I do think, like, that is one of the things about normal Dragonite, right? So many people were using it early meta that you could find interesting applications to counter it. So we've got Champao in the back. We've got Gyarados in the back. I honestly don't think I really need to switch out here, truthfully. Like, I'm down to go for an Icy Wind here. Just drop their speed so that Gyarados and Champao just outspeed both. Well, I suppose they're still going to click Extreme Speed with Dragonite. So why don't we just go for the KO into Dragonite here, right? Dazzling Gleam and Overheat into that slot. Yeah, I think they're choice banded given that they're going for another Extreme Speed. So I think this is one thing that's going to make Terra really interesting throughout Scarlet and Violet. Going for a defensive Terra just to counter a common metagame option. And Overheat's going to KO Dragonite. Beautiful. I think ultimately, though, yeah, we just had a really strong lead right from turn 1, and there wasn't much that threatened us immediately. The main thing I was worried about, like I mentioned, was like Quash Sableye plus a Iron Head, for example, double up to KO the Flutter Mane immediately. But we're going to see Flare Blitz onto Chi Yu, and Chi Yu actually impressively survives that as well. Excellent. Honestly, yeah, like, also, the Pokemon they brought, I was mainly worried about the new Pokemon in Palafin and the King Gambit, because I wasn't sure exactly how my opponent was going to run those, but now we can just Shadow Ball and switch out into Gyarados. And yeah, this is why Flutter Mane and Chi Yu is one of the most oppressive early meta compositions and duos, right? As of the time of this video, like, we don't know the official VGC rule set, so there is a chance that maybe Paradox Pokemon and the Legendary Pokemon or Rune Pokemon aren't allowed, and so if that's the case, then yeah, like, if they end up being allowed later on in the season, then I think it will be a combination people will look towards. And if they are allowed, I think a lot of people will just look towards building around this like super hyper offensive special attacking duo. All right, I'm excited for this one. They've got Grafaiai and Slacking, but Salamence, the Grimmsnarl, Murkrow, and Cerulege. So against Grafaiai and Slacking, we can bring the Pokemon that essentially Grafaiai can't copy. I kind of had to learn that the hard way when I used that combination, where there was one game where I, in Team Preview, literally did not recognize that I couldn't copy a single one of my opponent's abilities. So Chi Yu, Flutter Mane, and Champao are going to be the ones to look at here, because Chi Yu and Champao are dark typing, thus being immune to Prankster, and then Flutter Mane here, you can't copy. So I'll probably just bring all three here, because I do not want Slacking to get any opportunity to play this game. And then for the last Pokemon, I think Gyarados is okay. I'm down to just give Chi Yu and Flutter Mane the lead here. Chien-Pao in the back. And then Gyarados as the fourth. That seems okay. So what are we trying to accomplish here? I would say go for... Really just deny Slacking the ability to play the game, but maybe they don't even bring it because I do have 3 Pokemon they can't copy. It's going to be Slacking Murkrow. Okay, very cool. I mean, it's interesting because Slacking is still a pretty big offensive beast here, right? Like, turn 1, you could just go for, like, Tailwind. Yeah. Also curious if they're, like, Ghost Terra, for example. You could go for a Fighting type attack into Chi Yu, to which... Ooh, I actually think Chi Yu defensive Ghost here is really valuable turn 1, honestly. Because, like, Slacking, if it's running, like, a normal and a Fighting type attack, Chi Yu just gets to block that for a turn. So, like, I'm thinking we Terra and we just go for Heat Wave into Dazzling Gleam to start this game. I could also Icy Wind. Actually, I don't hate the idea of Icy Winding here, I think. Because Slacking is actually decently speedy. I guess the question is the item on Murkrow. If you're Eviolite, you might survive the Icy Wind Heat Wave combination. Could be Eject Button as well. Could be Clear Amulet. Sorry, not Clear Amulet, Covert Cloak. A lot of possible items to run on that Pokemon. But yeah, I wanted to just make sure Grafai Slacking doesn't just get to copy me immediately, because I think when I use that combination, that's often how I was able to just win the game. Like, get an early copy, get a quick bulk up, and then he'll back up with Drain Punch consistently. So, yeah, Ghost Chi Yu here I think is really helpful against Slacking, because it wants to generally go for normal fighting type attacks. So, yep, there's Tailwind from Murkrow. No major surprise there. We'll get Icy Wind off. Beautiful. What? That is so crazy to see, like, Murkrow just getting one shot like that. And they Drain Punch. Oh. Ghost Chi Yu Terra. So satisfying. I miss Heat Wave, though. Okay, that's fine. It does hurt a little bit, because that would have been a single target Heat Wave, which would have been amazing, but I'll take it. And Grafai comes out, but yeah, you can't copy my... Oh! Wait. You can copy Chi Yu now. No, you... Wait. It does copy Beads of Ruin, right? So I need to make sure they don't copy me, so I'm actually going to switch out into Chien-Pao right now. Just to deny them an attack. And I got Icy Wind again here. Yeah, I'm done. This is such an interesting application of typings though, right? I think one thing that I am really trying to get into the habit of, and I've been making a lot of mistakes in terms of Terra, is just forgetting that, like, hey, we're no longer our old Terra type, right? So when I used Abomasnow and Titan recently, like, I kept forgetting that Titan was not getting the defense boost from Snow anymore because I kept tearing it into ground. And then similarly here, yeah. I actually don't know if you can copy Beads of Ruin. I assume so, but since, yeah, we're no longer dark typing here, we're ghost typing, I don't want to risk it. So Chi Yu's going to switch out. And Chien-Pao plus the Flutter Mane are just so well positioned. So, Sword of Ruin. Okay, they're going to go for a Terra of their own. That's cool. Slacking defensively makes sense. Yep, and it's a Ghost Slacking of their own. Which is not going to be great for them, because now I can just Shadow Ball that slot next turn with confidence. And yeah, they try to Doodle, but yep, Chien-Pao's going to counter it. And so now Slacking just does not get an attack off for the turn, right? Because it's going to loaf around. I've dropped you down to -2 speed, so it essentially negates the Tailwind. Oh! I was wondering why Chi Yu didn't outspeed after. It's Clear Amulet Slacking. That's really cool. That makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Okay, I'm down to Sucker Punch here, though, and just Shadow Ball, honestly. Grafai switches out. Perfect. Into Salamence, so you get an attack reduction here, but because the Flutter Mane has the speed boost, we saw earlier we outspeed Slacking under Tailwind. Another Sucker Punch. Beautiful. And Shadow Ball will deal the finishing blow. Yeah, so I think, like, if you want to use Grafai and Slacking, or if you're going up against it, like, you want to consider that there are a fair amount of abilities that Grafai can't copy, and then you want to leverage Dark-type Pokemon as well. So It's exactly what we did in this game. And then, yeah, the defensive terror on Chi Yu made things easier as well. And in the end, Grafai itself, unfortunately, doesn't do much damage. And so if you're able to shut down its partner in slacking, it's really going to struggle. But I think this has been a really fun video in showcasing the defensive capability of Chi Yu. Like, ghost typing is so valuable for it to cover for all these normal and fighting type attacks. So now we can just go for Ice Spinner onto Salamence and a Dazzling Gleam. Curious about Salamance's moveset here. Honestly, as well as the rest of Grafai's moves. But yeah, like, I was rewatching the episode where I had, or the video I had with Grafai and Slacking, and a lot of people correctly pointed out that I don't think I could have actually copied a single ability from my opponent. Giga Impact, that's cool. Okay. I like that. That actually gives you a means of damage. Very awesome. Flutter Mane gets the Dazzling Gleam off here. Solomon survives, but that's fine. What's it going to go for? Oh, that's a crit. Okay, it's got to be Assault Vest Salamence then, right? That was a crit and it still didn't really do that much. That is really impressive bulk. Huh. Well, either way, we'll get Ice Spinner off here. And that'll be a KO. Cool. Now Grafai obviously can't attack next turn, so we'll be able to KO it. I should have noticed the Clear Amulet earlier on Slacking. So it's, you know, new generation. Got to pay attention to these new interactions, these new items, of course. We can bring out Chi Yu here. And just go for Dark Pulse. Okay. Ice Spinner and Dark Pulse. I would assume Dark Pulse KOs here, but let's see. Nice. So, yeah, I think, like, it's just tough for Grafai and Slacking when your opponent has so many things and abilities that you can't copy. That was why it was very intentional in Team Preview to bring all 3 Pokemon that couldn't copy, right? And so, with Grafai and Slacking, you generally know what's coming your way. And, yeah, like I said, I had to learn the hard way when I was using the team. But in matchups where your opponent doesn't have too many, like, Pokemon where you cannot copy their abilities, then it's a lot safer to go for that combination. And then if you are able to just get rid of Slacking's ability immediately, obviously it becomes a lot more effective. So my main goal in this one was to just deny them the ability to change their ability. And that ended up working out pretty well for us. Is this a rental that's running around right now? Can't be a coincidence we're fighting against it again, right? Amoonguss, Dragonite, Palafin, King Gambit, Arcanine, Sableye. Interesting. Okay. I want to take a slightly different approach here, maybe. And try out something like the Choice Band Dragonite. Plus Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss is just really good here, especially with Akaberry. And in the back, Chi Yu and Flutter Mane. But yeah, if anyone knows the origin of this team, I'm really curious. Definitely an interesting one. Like, just a lot of cool Pokemon, right? King Gambit, Palafin, Sableye. A lot of interesting picks that, like, I want to explore. I'd definitely be down to try it out myself as well. We're going to go with Sableye and Dragonite. Okay. So I'm mainly curious about the, like, do you have Will-O-Wisp, for example? Could have Taunt as well, for example. Not knowing Sableye's moveset makes this slightly more challenging, in my opinion. I think ideally we Terra Chi Yu. I'm not completely opposed to just Dragon Claw Dragonite and then Spore Sableye turn 1, but I think there's a fair amount that can go wrong. First of all, Sableye can click Fake Out. They could have Taunt onto my Amoonguss as well. Dragonite could just Dragon Claw onto my Dragonite. They could go for Terra with Dragonite and just go for Extreme Speed. Will-O-Wisp from Sableye as well. I don't really know if I have a safe turn 1 here. So I think maybe I could have just gone with the previous lead that worked, which was just the Flutter Mane plus the Chi Yu. Dragonite is going to commit the Terra here. Okay. Let's see what happens. They're just going to go for Extreme Speed. No Fake Out from Sableye. Extreme Speed into the Dragonite slot. Won't pick up the KO, but we'll still do a ton of damage. Oh, interesting. Sableye's just not going for priority here at all. Okay, they're going to go for Foul Play onto Dragonite, but I don't mind that very much, because now the thing is I can just go for the switch-in into Flutter Mane and just protect Amoonguss as I Dazzling Gleam. Seems decently strong, right? I guess I could have also gone Chi Yu and then Terra, but I don't want to reveal my Terra quite yet. I guess my only question is whether or not Dragonite can survive the Dazzling Gleam here. But yeah, I'm just going to Gleam and Protect here. So Sabai's going to survive thanks to Roselli Berry, but that's fine. They've already committed their Terra, and I think late game Flutter Mane plus Chi Yu is really strong between Dazzling Gleam and Heat Wave. Okay, Dragonite switches. That makes sense. Nicely done. Into Arcanine. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But we have Aqua Berry and Amoonguss, so I'm not too concerned. The Arcanine, however, is going to be fairly good as a defensive option into us, because it's not like I do that much damage with Chi Yu or the Flutter Mane with it as of right now. Okay. But like here, I'm honestly down to just click Dazzling Gleam again and then Spore into Arcanine. Yeah, that seems okay. We've got the Aqua Berry here on Arcanine. We'll see if Sableye manages to wake up here. It is going to take a second turn of sleep. Okay, that's really good for us. We should just get the knockout onto it with Dazzling Gleam then, now that the berry is consumed. Chip away a little bit more at Arcanine. Crit onto the Sableye, but I don't really think that mattered. Let's see, could be Snarl, could be Flare Blitz. They're just going to Flare Blitz into the Aqua Berry. Perfect. That's totally okay with me. Does less than half there. Beautiful. Take a little bit of chip damage from the recoil. Ah! Safety goggles. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, goggles is an excellent item choice because it means you just have such a better matchup into Amoonguss. Honestly fine, though. King Gambit's going to come out now. Ooh, King Gambit does make this a little bit more interesting, I would argue. I think what I'm going to do here, though, is just protect. Like, the fear is essentially they can just go for a Flare Blitz into Amoonguss, and then also... Oh, I could Terra here. The theory behind Terra is to turn into Water type, so then I resist your Arcanine's attacks. But Chi Yu Terra late game is also not bad. But basically the fear is Flare Blitz KOs Amoonguss, and then King Gambit KOs Flutter Mane here. Does Shadow Ball KO Arcanine? Is my question. Because what I want to go for is just Shadow Ball onto it right now. And Rage Powder. I'm not sure Shadow Ball KOs Arcanine here. The safety goggles made a big difference in this one. Oh, but they go for Sucker Punch. Okay, cool. That works. Because I could have lost this game if they just went Flare Blitz and a Steel type attack. And yeah, we didn't KO Arcanine. Okay. I think that's okay, though. Flare Blitz, actually, they'll probably faint from recoil here, right? Yeah. I was thinking, though, I could have still won the game with Chi Yu, because then I would have been able to go for Terra Ghost, but then the problem is that, like, King Gambit could just Sucker Punch. Like, Sucker Punch plus Extreme Speed would have covered every Chi Yu option that I had here. So, I'll go into Chi Yu now. If I were them, I would simply just Sucker Punch Flutter Mane. Like, they could still win this. Sucker Punch Flutter Mane and then Extreme Speed into Chi Yu. So what I'm going to do is go for Dazzling Gleam. Terra into Ghost to avoid Extreme Speed onto the Chi Yu. And then just Heat Wave. Safety Goggles was, I think, what really set me back in this game. And it's a fairly strong item choice on Arcanine, so it's not like I should be shocked by it. But I was still willing to go for it because if they don't have Goggles there, I think it just puts me in such a winning position thanks to Amoonguss. So... yeah, nice decision to bring the Arcanine here. Oh, King Gambit protects. Okay. I feel like that should put us in a really good spot. They were probably Extreme Speeding into Chi Yu with the normal typing. We're immune. Amazing. Yeah. This thing is such a good counter to Dragonite. Poor Dragonite. Okay. Nice. We just KO. Now it's a 2v1. Wait, this is still totally winnable, though, for King Gambit. Because now they can just Sucker Punch me. The question is, Does Sucker Punch also KO the Flutter Mane? I wouldn't think so, right? But our defenses are so bad. So I'm gonna just Heat Wave and Dazzling Gleam, but now you can, yeah, Sucker Punch into Chi Yu. And that will be enough for a KO. Ooh. Yeah, great protect. Okay. I would think Dazzling is a 2-hit KO. If not, then I definitely just lose this, I think. Yeah, but it's a question of whether or not I survive a Sucker Punch here from the Life Orb King Gambit. Honestly, don't think so. Our HP and defense are so mediocre. Well done. Well done. That was awesome. Really cool. Yeah, ultimately it was the safety goggles on Amoonguss that I think screwed me over a little bit. My lead also just wasn't amazing. I could have just gone with the Flutter Mane plus the Flutter Mane plus the Chi Yu combination. Yeah, especially with the element of surprise of Ghost on Chi Yu, because that was the same team but a different player from the previous opponent we had that had the same team. So yeah, but I think they like having the priority is a really big deal, because what this team, the team that we're using, wants to do is just KO your opponent and outspeed you before you get a chance to move. But my opponent essentially denied me that chance, and there was such a good protect on King Gambit there as well. Because if they had actually just clicked Sucker Punch there, Heat Wave would have just picked up the double knockout there. And so great awareness to go for the protect there and actually covered for the terror option. So yeah, I guess I could have tried to stall out the Sucker Punch PP in that end game, by the way, and just like try to protect 8 times. I don't know if Sucker Punch there. Like, we could also play towards a win condition, let the Sucker Punches in PP max, and then play those mind games, so, yeah. But yeah, the Life Orb King Gambit with Sucker Punch is, like, the fact you can get a one-hit knockout onto the Flutter Mane is a really big deal, and I think the main thing here is I wanted to try a different lead, see how it would have worked, but Sableye Dragonite seems fairly consistent, so, yeah, if I were to play against that combo again, maybe just go back to Flutter Mane, plus the Chi Yu combination. But yeah, that was a really fun one. Like, I don't mind losing that, and I think it's good to highlight how you potentially can lose with the Chi Yu plus the Flutter Mane combination. Yeah, the priority is just really scary, and King Gambit, like, Dark plus normal coverage there is really amazing, because the Dark covers exactly for me turning into Ghost typing on Chi Yu. So yeah, that was a really fun one. We've got a fairly Trick Room oriented team for this one. Torkoal, Hatterene, Indeedee, Murkrow, Grimmsnarl, Garchomp. It's Trick Room with, like, the Hatterene, Indeedee, Torkoal combination, but you also have a Tailwind component with the Murkrow. You could go, like, Murkrow, Garchomp lead, for example. Maybe it's Terra, Ground, Garchomp. I'm wondering if there's Clear Amulet potentially on the Garchomp as well. Curious about the item on Murkrow. We could theoretically, like, just go for Terra with Dragonite. Extreme speed into it. Hatterene Indeedee is also just fairly concerning. Against that, I could go Flutter Mane Chi Yu, though, and, like, go for the, like, Terra, Dazzling Gleam, Heat Wave combo, potentially. Okay, I think I'm down for Flutter Mane Chi Yu once again, Gyarados in the back, and then, even though it's Trick Room, I probably want a Amoonguss. Yeah. Like, this Amoonguss with Terra Water is going to be our counter to Torkoal. Like I mentioned in the team preview, or, like, when I was analyzing the team, I think one thing that this team has, like, amazing, or does an amazing job of, is, like, having really optimal Terra types, especially defensively for Chi Yu and Amoonguss. Cool, they go with Hatterene and Indeedee. Okay. Yeah, essentially my question here is whether or not you survive a Heat Wave plus Terra Flutter Mane combination. It probably does, to be honest. And then I probably want to conserve my Terra for Amoonguss, right? Okay, it's Psychic Seed on Indeedee. That makes sense. We're going to get Booster Energy here. I don't know. Hatterene is fairly defensive. I would kind of expect it to survive. I mean, how else would I have led against this? Maybe some Shampoo combination? I just think I get swept by Torkoal if I use my Terra right now with this. So, I'll tell you what. I will just Dazzling Gleam and Heat Wave turn 1, I think. I could Dark Pulse as well to try to just KO Indeedee. Oh, they protected. I could have considered Dark Pulsing Hatterene there then. Oh, it's just a double protect. Okay. That makes sense. Scout out for a Terra on my end, see what I want to do. Like, they potentially have a defensive Terra with Hatterene as well. Okay. I don't know. Amoonguss lead could have been interesting here. Dragonite wouldn't have done much. Chien-Pao wouldn't have done much. Gyarados, not amazing either. It's a tricky spot. I don't know. Like, is there any chance we can KO Hatterene if I Terra here? Because if so, I think it's just worth going for it. Because their team is super, super, like, indexed on setting up Trick Room. I just, like, I don't feel confident because Hatterene just is fairly defensive, or especially defensive, and normally runs max HP here, and I think my Amoonguss can give them so much trouble under Trick Room. So, honestly, I'm down to just Dazzling and Heat Wave again here. Okay, they don't go for a Follow Me. Oh, that actually, yeah, I think we probably would have done enough into Hatterene. Oh! I didn't even need to Terra. Okay. At first, I was like, oh, I don't think Heat Wave is going to get the KO here, but, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it was going to. So, I spent all of that time debating about whether or not I needed to Terra my Flutter Mane, but in the end, it was more than enough. They bring out Grimmsnarl, but, like, part of the thing about my opponent's team is that, like, you set up Psychic Terrain, so your Grimmsnarl can't go for priority attacks onto my side of the field. So, can't Sucker Punch me. Like, Dazzling Heat Wave here, I feel like just sweeps. I'm really surprised to see Grimmsnarl in the back, because, especially if you're bringing in DD. But I think, like, their Trick Room mode is, what, Hatterene, Indeedee, Torkoal. It's kind of awkward to have a fourth option. Like, Murkrow in the back doesn't make too much sense. I don't think Grimmsnarl in the back really is that strong either. So, like, maybe it's Garchomp then. But, yeah, Dazzling Gleam plus Heat Wave here just picks up a double KO. The spread combination here is just absolutely crazy. I honestly really didn't think I'd KO Hatterene there, though. Like, Hatterene's just such a bulky Pokemon, but that was a very pleasant surprise, because, yeah, if my opponent doesn't get Trick Room up here, they're in a lot of trouble. I think, like, Murkrow Garchomp would be the adjustment you would make if you were in their shoes, right, going into a best of 3. But the thing is, I was even okay with Murkrow Garchomp, I think, because, like, we have the Scarf, we have Gyarados as an Intimidate switch, and Amoonguss to potentially Spore Garchomp as well, so, yeah. Anyway, now we can just Shadow Ball and Heat Wave again. So, yeah, this duel, you can already see, is just so strong, right? It's like, you put on so much offensive pressure, you also are just so speedy between the Choice Scarf on Chi Yu and the Booster Energy on Flutter Mane, but because I had the Amoonguss in the back, it's like, even if they were able to successfully set up Trick Room, I still think we had answers, because my kind of counterplay to Trick Room would have been Terra, Amoonguss, then we're Water, Torkoal does less damage, I can put the Torkoal to sleep, and, like, Torkoal was their main means of offense under Trick Room, so, yeah. That's one of the ways you can deal with Hatterene plus Indeedee, is just, like, a lot of strong spread type attacks, and, yeah. Like I said, I still wasn't expecting Chi Yu and Flutter Mane to actually get the KO there, so that was a really pleasant surprise. Nice, we've got the Murkrow, Brute Bonnet, Chi Yu, Torkoal. I'm literally looking at the giraffe, and I know everyone's like, please pronounce it properly. But I'm going to say Faraffarig and the Glamora here. Okay. Huh. Well, speed control is fairly concerning, but you know what's cool? Oh, actually it doesn't work. I was going to say we could choice ban extreme speed into Murkrow, but the Faraffarig would just actually block the extreme speed, which would be less than ideal. I mean, I could just go with Chi Yu Flutter Mane, honestly, because, like, we're still fairly speedy with this duo. And then in the back, Chien-Pao because of Focus Sash. I think it could still be worth bringing Dragonite here. Gyarados would be the other consideration. I think I like Dragonite a little bit more. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so what's our goal here? I mean, one, figure out what kind of speed control they're going to want to go for. We know it's eject button on the Murkrow. We know they have Sunny Day on that as well. We know Brute Bonnet's actually fairly speedy and offensive. It's going to be Murkrow and Faraffarig. Okay. Sorry, I said Faraffarig. I like took a brief pause there because I was like thinking about the pronunciation for Rigorath. I want to call it Fragiraph. Frigoraph. Okay. I mean, you're gonna look to Tailwind here. I've got Icy Wind on Flutter Mane. Honestly, kind of down to just Dark Pulse and Icy Wind turn 1. It would make sense for them to Tailwind into Dazzling Gleam. So, yeah. If they get Tailwind up, it's not the end of the world, especially with Icy Wind speed control. Like, that's the thing with Flutter Mane getting a speed boost. Like, it just outspeeds so many things. And it makes it even difficult for Tailwind. Yep, we're going to set up Tailwind here. Okay. Yep, we're indeed faster here. Murkrow survives with just a sliver of HP. It's enough to eject it out. Yep, so it's going to get forced out. So they get a free switch in, which is interesting, but Chi Yu should now just outspeed and KO with the Dark Pulse. So it's a fairly strong turn 1 for us, right? And then what would they bring in? Like, what are the sweepers? I think after playing against King Gambit, I'm honestly really worried about Sucker Punch pressure from Brute Bonnet. It's going to be their own Chi Yu. Okay. So Dark Pulse here should get the KO. We outspeed. Beautiful. And yeah, that's the awesome thing with Dynamic Speed. You can see exactly how relevant having both Choice Scarf plus Booster Energy on the Flutter Mane is here, right? So we're off to a quick lead, but they now get to bring out Glamora. Okay. Got Xianpao in the back. You're Assault Vested, which is not ideal for me. Like, Glamora late game sweep is probably the most concerning thing. But I could, like, Terra Dragonite. Dragon Claw into it. It is Grass Terra. I mean, we have Extreme Speed just waiting for the Chi Yu slot right now. Right? So I think it's better to just try to damage Glamora right now. I don't hate an Icy Wind here. So there's Terra, sure. Okay, they're just going to Terra Chi Yu. Yeah, that makes sense. And Fire is fine. It is going to dish out a lot of damage here, but we can just use the Dragonite to deal with it. And yeah, Flutter Mane getting that speed boost is just so, so nice. Use that +1 now. We're going to chip away at Glamora. You can see, like, we've essentially completely negated Tailwind here, right? Because we're able to just constantly move before our opponent, and the Icy Wind then drops their speed immediately thanks to Dynamic Speeds. So Heat Wave will get the KO into Flutter Mane. That was a crit. I think that may have mattered, but it's fine. We'll get a double knockout here most likely with the Power Gem. Yeah. But the thing is now I just get 2 free switch-ins into Dragonite and the Qianpao. And I've dropped your speed. And I have priority extreme speed. This is where playing with new Pokemon gets a little bit tricky because I actually don't know like the speed tiers exactly off the top of my head right now. But essentially what I want to do is Terra with Dragonite. That gets rid of our weakness to the rock type attacks from Glamora. Oh, actually Glamora is Assault Vested here, so I can just Sucker Punch that slot, right? It was Sunny Day. They do have Quash. Wait, I am a little bit worried about Quash, actually. Oh, no, but we have higher priority with Extreme Speed. Never mind, we're good. Yeah. I'm just going to Sucker Punch Glamora and Terra Extreme Speed Chi Yu. Okay, they're not protecting or switching, so this should be a double KO. Their best bet here is probably protect Chi Yu, but I think the extreme speed now is just too strong. Like, we had such a strong turn 1, right? Like, and they weren't really in a position to capitalize off Tailwind because we kept slowing them down. So, beautiful. We'll just get extreme speed off here. And it's interesting, right? Because the Chi Yu on that team is fire type, which makes sense because its goal is to just, like, snowball off Tailwind, but a Ghost Terra would have made my life a little bit more difficult. Although, I suppose if there were Ghost Terra, then the Shen Pao could have just been able to KO it with Sucker Punch. So, Glimmora will faint, Toxic Spikes will go up, but Murkrow is the last one. But yeah, I do think, like, in Scarlet and Violet in particular, information about your opponent's team gives you such a significant advantage. And so when we fight against, like, teams that I featured already on YouTube, for example, I just have an honest, like, major advantage. Because it's like, I know what Terra types they are. If you know that they don't have Protect, you can really take advantage of that as well. So that's something that certainly can't be discounted. But yeah, I think, like, knowing that we could just safely go for our turn 1 play there made things a lot easier. And I think, like, I'm glad to have this game because it highlights exactly why you would want to run the booster energy on the Flutter Mane as well as the Choice Scarf on Chi Yu. Like, it's already just really fast, so you're already able to outspeed things. And then even against Tailwind stuff, like, we were able to just drop their speeds and make it really difficult for our opponents to play the game. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. So thank you so much as always for watching, and thank you to Federico once again for the team. I hope that it's opened your eyes to just how strong the Chi Yu and Flutter Mane combination can be, and I mean it when I say this can just stomp teams within 2 to 3 turns, and hopefully some of those games demonstrated it. So yeah, my name is Aaron CybertronZeng. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like or consider subscribing. It would mean a lot, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.